years of unified imperial history, and never in the chaotic times before, for that matter, had the race got a larger and more unpleasant surprise. When the conquest fleet did reach Tosev 3, it found not sword-swinging savages, but a highly industrialized world with several empires and not empires battling one another for dominance. Even after all these years, there are times when I still feel rage that we did not completely conquer this planet, Atvar said. But on the other fork of the tongue, there are also times when I feel nothing but relief that we still maintain control over any part of its surface. I understand, exalted Fleet Lord, Kirill said. I know you do, Ship Lord. I am glad you do, Atvar said. But I do wonder if anyone back on home truly understands. I have the dubious distinction of commanding the first interstellar conquest fleet in the history of the race that did not conquer completely. That is not how I intended hatchlings to remember me. Conditions here were not as we anticipated them, Kirill said loyally. He'd had his chances to be disloyal, had them and not taken them. By now, Atvar was willing to believe he wouldn't. He went on, Do you not agree that there is a certain amount of irony in the profit we have made off the Tosevites by selling them this image and others from the probe? Their own scholars desire those photographs because they have none of their own from what seems to them to be a distant and uncivilized time. Irony. Yes, that is one of the words I might apply to the situation. One of the politer words, Atvar said. He went back to his desk and prodded the control again. The Tosevite warrior vanished. He wished he could make all the Tosevites vanish that easily, but no such luck. He replaced the warrior's image with a map of the surface of Tosev 3. By his standards, it was a chilly world, with too much water and not enough land. Of what land there was, the race did not rule enough. Only the southern half of the lesser continental mass, the southwest and south of the main continental mass, and the island continent to the southeast of the main continental mass were reassuringly red on the map. The not empires of the Americans, the Ruskies, and the Deutsche all remained independent and needed colors of their own. So did the island empires of Britain and Nippon, though both of them were shrunken remnants of what they had been when the conquest fleet came to Tosev 3. Kirill also turned one eye toward the map while keeping the other on Atvar. Truly, exalted Fleet Lord, it could be worse. So it could, Atvar said with another sigh. But it could also be a great deal better. It would be a great deal better if these areas here on the eastern part of the main continental mass, especially this one called China, acknowledged our rule as they should. I have long since concluded that the big uglies never do things as they should, Kirill said. I agree completely, the Fleet Lord replied. His little tail stump twitched in agitation. But how are we to convince the Fleet Lord of the Colonization fleet that this is the case? Now Kirill sighed. I do not know. He lacks our experience with this world. Once he acquires it, he will, I am sure, come round to our way of thinking. But we must expect him to be rigid for a time. Back on home, rigid was a term of praise. It had been a term of praise when the conquest fleet came to Tosa.